Welcome to Void Realities. Beneath the endless night sky, we travel together through stars, time, and silence. Here, insomnia becomes a voyage, where science glows softly, guiding your mind to drift beyond the ordinary. Voyager, beyond the stars, a whisper from Earth. In the stillness of night, a voice leaves Earth. It carries the weight of humanity's hopes and the softness of a lullaby. A machine of metal becomes a messenger of memory. You feel the tenderness of beginnings, the hush of departure. The night sky stretches above you, wide and infinite, and yet, somewhere within that immensity, a single signal has just begun its journey. You imagine yourself standing on the quiet ground, the hum of life around you fading into stillness, while above, a whisper of human intention leaves the earth for the very first time. This whisper is not a voice in the air, not a sound you can hear with your ears. It is the gentle stream of radio waves, a vibration of energy carrying itself upward and outward. It is the voice of Voyager, a small spacecraft launched in the late summer of 1977. You picture it lifting from the Earth's cradle, its body shimmering as it rides on a column of fire. But you do not see chaos or noise. Instead, you feel the calm inevitability of motion, as if the universe itself had waited for this departure. Voyager is small, fragile compared to the planet it leaves behind, and yet it is enormous in meaning. On board are instruments, cameras, sensors, antennas, tools of exploration. But what you sense most clearly is not the machinery. It is the intention, the hope that has been woven into its creation. Engineers built it, scientists guided it, but all of humanity seems tucked inside its frame, as if the craft itself carries a fragment of the human spirit. You close your eyes and imagine yourself inside the signal it sends. The radio waves drift outward at the speed of light, carrying data and messages, slipping silently through the fabric of space. There is no resistance, no friction, just endless dark and the gentle expansion of a human-made voice. You feel comfort in this thought, that even from a world so full of noise, worry, and impermanence, a clear whisper can still rise. Voyager is proof of this, a reminder that what we create can move beyond us, outlasting our brief lives. As Voyager drifts away, you picture its golden record, a disc fastened to its side. On it are greetings in many languages, the sound of a heartbeat, the trickle of water, the songs of birds, the laughter of people. You imagine the record spinning slowly, like a lullaby written not for one child, but for the entire cosmos. The sound is not played, not heard, but it is there, etched permanently into its grooves, waiting for someone or something to lift the needle and listen. In this way, the spacecraft becomes more than a probe. It becomes a messenger, and you, here on Earth, become part of its story. For the record carries not just the voices of others, but your story too, in some invisible way, because you are part of the same humanity that sent it. As you breathe in, you imagine that breath extending outward, joining Voyager's journey. You exhale, and in that soft release, you picture your worries falling away, left behind with the world's noise, while only a pure, quiet message continues outward. The whisper carries, across millions of kilometers, across the vastness that begins just beyond the moon. Voyager passes Earth's silent guardian, slipping further into the solar system. Its antenna turns, carefully aligned, sending back its first notes to ground stations. Each signal is faint, barely detectable, and yet powerful in meaning. To receive these signals requires immense dishes of metal scattered across the Earth. You imagine one of them, a dish so large you could lie within its curve like a cradle. It listens, always listening, for the faint pulse of Voyager's voice. The Earth, for all its noise, holds its breath to hear this faint call. You feel the delicacy of it, the fragility of a signal stretched thin across distance, and yet it reaches us faithfully, a reminder that distance does not erase connection. The spacecraft itself continues on, unaware of its own purpose. Its instruments do not dream, its record does not hope. Yet through them you sense the dreams of those who made it. And this becomes the rhythm of the story, the silent, tireless drifting of a machine infused with meaning by the hearts and minds that shaped it. As you picture Voyager leaving, you think of departure itself, how every journey begins with a separation. For the spacecraft, this means leaving behind the protective layers of Earth's atmosphere, leaving the pull of its oceans and forests and skies. For you, it may mean letting go of the day's thoughts, the burdens you have carried, so that you may drift, like Voyager, into something wider. There is a meditative rhythm in this, the thought that as Voyager pulls away, so too do you loosen from what is heavy. Each kilometer it travels becomes a gentle letting go, a release of attachment. The further it goes, the lighter you feel. And yet there is tenderness too. The spacecraft does not leave without memory. It carries reminders of its home. You too carry your own golden record, your memories, your laughter, your moments of warmth. As you drift toward rest, you sense that you are not leaving these things behind, but carrying them with you as Voyager does. The night grows deeper. Stars appear like scattered notes of a song you already know, but are hearing again in a softer key. Voyager is only beginning its journey, and so are you. Its whisper of departure is also your whisper of surrender to the quiet. You picture the spacecraft now as a tiny spark moving outward, a speck against an endless canvas. From Earth it appears impossibly small, and yet its voice continues, its signal still reaches. You remember that even the smallest light, the faintest sound, can travel farther than you imagine. And so, in the rhythm of this story, you find comfort. Your own presence, your own thoughts, your own being has a way of reaching beyond you. Even in silence, even in sleep, you are part of something vast. The whisper from Earth continues. It is carried by Voyager, but it belongs to all of us. And as you rest here listening, you too are carried away from the small troubles of the day into the greater calm of night. The journey has only just begun. The signal drifts outward into the darkness, toward the edge of what we know. Somewhere ahead waits the vastness of the planets, the great wandering giants of the solar system. But for now you simply float with Voyager, quiet and unhurried, listening as the whisper fades into the stars. The edge of familiar skies. The spacecraft drifts past the orbits of planets we know. Home fades softly, and distance becomes a teacher. Jupiter and Saturn shine like lanterns, guiding the way outward. You feel the tender weight of goodbye and the quiet promise of discovery. You drift with Voyager now, leaving Earth behind, the whisper fading into silence. The journey has begun, and with it comes the slow widening of space, the stretching of familiar boundaries. You are moving outward, past the orbits of the worlds you once studied from afar, into a vastness where each planet is both a neighbor and a milestone. Earth shrinks quickly in memory, yet not in meaning. From here, the skies that once felt boundless reveal themselves as just a small part of something greater. Voyager's path curves outward, toward the giants, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, Neptune. Each waits like a lantern along a winding path through the night, casting both light and mystery across the darkness. First you approach Jupiter. Even before the spacecraft reaches it, you feel its pull. Jupiter is immense, not just in size, but in presence. The largest of planets, a swirling giant of gas, it commands attention. Its storms are older than all of human history, its clouds towering higher than any mountain on Earth. You picture the great red spot, a storm so vast it could swallow entire worlds, yet so steady it has raged for centuries. Voyager drifts closer, carried not only by its own momentum, but by Jupiter's gravity itself. The planet pulls the spacecraft in, bends its path, and then flings it forward again. This is gravity assist, a slingshot around a giant, a gift of speed borrowed from a planet's orbit. You imagine it like leaning into the current of a river. The pull is strong, but instead of trapping you, it guides you forward, further, faster. Jupiter's moons float nearby, each one a world of its own. Io restless and fiery, with volcanoes spitting plumes into space. Europa smooth and cold, its icy crust hiding an ocean beneath. Ganymede, the largest moon in the solar system, bigger even than Mercury, carrying magnetic whispers of its own. Callisto, ancient and cratered, like an old memory etched into stone. Voyager passes them one by one, capturing images that will return to Earth like postcards from a journey most of us will never take. You watch them pass, and you realize that the solar system is not made of planets alone, but of countless companions, moons, rings, asteroids, dust. Each has its own story, its own quiet orbit, and just as Voyager moves among them, so too do you drift among your own thoughts, noticing the small worlds within your mind, each with its own orbit, its own rhythm. As Jupiter fades behind, the spacecraft carries on toward Saturn. Here again, distance becomes teacher. The silence between planets is wide, but within that space lies time for reflection. You imagine Voyager crossing the dark between worlds, antenna pointed faithfully homeward, its instruments awake, its golden record still fastened in place. Then Saturn rises. You picture it slowly appearing, not as a point of light, but as a great orb encircled by rings. The rings are delicate, almost transparent, yet they stretch wide, wider than the planet itself. They are made not of solid bands, but of countless pieces, ice-rock fragments, each circling in perfect balance. Voyager shows them as braided streams, rippling and divided, sculpted by the gravity of tiny shepherd moons. There is a serenity in Saturn's image. Where Jupiter is storm and thunder, Saturn is harmony, a world draped in subtle hues, pale gold and quiet cream. Its storms are there too, hidden in bands of cloud, but it feels more like a place of stillness than fury. You imagine standing near its rings, hearing nothing, only the gentle motion of ice against ice, a cosmic hush. The spacecraft passes close enough to reveal moons here as well, Titan wrapped in thick orange haze, hiding lakes of methane and ethane beneath. Enceladus, icy and brilliant, with geysers that spray water into space, hinting at oceans deep inside. Each one feels like a secret, revealed only for a moment before Voyager drifts onward. You sense the weight of departure here too. With each planet passed, with each glimpse captured, Voyager moves further from home, further from the sun, further from the world you know. But instead of loss, you feel expansion. To leave is not to forget. It is to grow, to see more than what you once thought was all. Beyond Saturn lie Uranus and Neptune, dimmer, quieter, more distant. Voyager would not reach them both. Only Voyager 2, its twin, would one day glimpse their blue-green spheres. But the idea of them remains in this journey. Worlds that wait on the edge of vision, like questions not yet answered. And beyond them, something even greater waits. The silence beyond the planets, the edge of the sun's breath itself. You feel the path pulling you onward toward a horizon you cannot yet see. Through all this, Earth grows smaller and smaller until it is just a point of memory, a pale dot that lingers behind. The familiar skies, the ones you grew beneath, the constellations you traced as a child, remain visible, but Voyager is teaching you something new. Familiarity is not the boundary of wonder. Even when you leave behind the known, there is always more waiting. You breathe slowly, letting this thought sink into you. The edges of your own familiar skies, the thoughts, the routines, the places you know, are not the end. Beyond them lies expansion, quiet and infinite, if only you allow yourself to drift. As Voyager continues its flight, you feel yourself drifting too. Past the edges of your own day, past the orbits of your worries, into a space that is wider, calmer. The spacecraft, a speck of metal, is becoming more than machine. It is a companion, showing you how to leave without fear, how to wander without losing yourself. The planets fade behind, Earth is already far away, yet ahead there is so much more, silence, stars, and the faint pull of mysteries not yet seen. Voyager glides, steady and sure, into this widening darkness, and you, listening, begin to glide as well, into the slow calm of sleep. The pale blue dot. From far away, Earth is no longer vast, but a fragile spark of light. All of life, all of history folds into that single shimmer. Through Voyager's eye you glimpse home as if for the first time. Smallness becomes beauty, and humility becomes comfort. Voyager drifts outward, leaving behind the giants of the solar system. Jupiter, Saturn, their moons and rings, all have fallen away into memory. The spacecraft now floats at a distance where the sun still shines, but softer, dimmer, a glow that feels less like a star and more like a lantern fading at the edge of vision. Here a decision was made. As Voyager turned back one last time, it aimed its camera toward home. It captured an image that would become one of the most humbling portraits in the history of science, and you are seeing it now, not with your eyes, but with your imagination, resting in the quiet of night. The picture shows a scatter of light, rays from the sun striking across the frame, and caught within one of those beams, almost by accident, almost overlooked, is a dot. A small, pale, almost invisible dot. That dot is Earth. You pause and let this truth settle. All that you know, all that you are, rests within that point of light. The oceans, the mountains, the cities, the forests, every voice that has ever spoken, every life that has ever been lived, every joy, every sorrow, every triumph, every loss, all of it exists within something so small, so fragile, it could be mistaken for a speck of dust on the lens. This is the pale blue dot, a photograph that changed the way we see ourselves. Carl Sagan, the poet-scientist who helped inspire Voyager's mission, reflected on this image with words that still echo, that this tiny world is our only home, that it deserves our care, our gentleness, our unity. You imagine yourself floating in that image now. From such a distance there are no borders, no divisions, no lines drawn by human hands. There is only blue, the reflection of water and sky, and the pale shimmer of light. You breathe in slowly, and with that breath you feel yourself expand beyond the boundaries of identity, of nation, of self. You are simply part of this dot, part of Earth. In its smallness there is something comforting. To see yourself reduced to such a scale is not to feel erased, but to feel lighter. Your burdens, your worries, the weight of your day, they too shrink in this perspective. Against the immensity of space, they seem as fleeting as shadows in the evening. And yet even in its smallness, Earth is everything. For in that dot lies love, laughter, music, stories, dreams. In that dot lies the warmth of family, the hope of generations, the endless creativity of life. You are reminded that significance does not come from size, but from presence, from the beauty of being. Voyager's image is not cold or distant, it is tender, almost intimate, like looking at a photograph of yourself as a child. You see the world not as an object, but as something precious, something vulnerable. It is a reminder that fragility and beauty often live side by side. As you drift with this thought, you imagine Voyager itself turning slowly, its camera fixed for just a moment, capturing that small dot. Then, as it resumes its outward path, it will never look back again. Earth will shrink further into invisibility until even the most sensitive instruments cannot detect it. And yet you will always remember this glimpse, this fragile spark, because it reminds you of where you began. You let your body rest into this image. Imagine yourself floating, untethered, seeing Earth not beneath your feet, but in the distance, shining in a shaft of sunlight. You feel both distant and connected. You are far away, and yet never separate. The perspective changes you. From Earth, the stars seem unreachable, eternal, scattered in an endless sky. But from Voyager's vantage point, Earth itself becomes the unreachable one, a distant star to be gazed upon with longing. You understand now that perspective is everything, that even in your own life how you look at something determines its meaning. The pale blue dot whispers to you, you are small but not insignificant. You are fleeting but not forgotten. You are fragile But within that fragility lies immense beauty. Your breath slows, your thoughts soften. You rest in this perspective like a child hearing a lullaby. The image becomes less a picture and more a feeling, the feeling of belonging, of being part of something greater, yet also precious in your individuality. And as you prepare to drift deeper, you sense what lies ahead. Beyond Earth, beyond the planets, lies a vast icy frontier, the Kuiper Belt, the edge of the solar system's familiar skies. Voyager is moving toward it, slow and steady, and you will follow. But before you go, you hold the image of Earth in your mind one last time. A pale blue dot suspended in a sunbeam, carrying all that is dear, all that is known, all that is you. Into the Kuiper silence. Past Neptune's shadow lies a cold and quiet frontier. The Kuiper Belt drifts like frozen dust, untouched and ancient. Here time feels slower, stretched across icy distances. Voyager drifts into this silence and you drift with it. The planets fade behind you now. Jupiter's storms, Saturn's rings, the distant orbs of Uranus and Neptune all fall away into the deepening dark. What lies ahead is not a world, but a region, a place of silence, of distance, of slowness. Voyager drifts toward it, steady as a dream. You follow, feeling the stillness settle into your breath. This region is called the Kuiper Belt, a vast ring of icy bodies that circles the sun far beyond the last familiar planets. It is made of remnants, ancient pieces of the solar system's birth, fragments that never grew into full worlds. Here are comets frozen and waiting, their tails hidden until they wander inward. Here are dwarf planets like Pluto, faint and far, circling slowly in the cold. Here are shards of rock and ice, so many they blur into dust. You imagine the Kuiper Belt as a halo, a wreath around the solar system, glittering with frozen light. But from Voyager's vantage, it is not glittering at all. It is quiet, shadowed, a place where the sun is reduced to a faint star, too dim to warm, too far to command. The warmth you once knew on Earth is now only a memory. Out here, sunlight is diluted, thin as breath, no brighter than twilight. The silence grows deeper. You feel it not just around you, but within you. The Kuiper Belt is not noisy with collisions or storms. It is almost still. Its bodies move but slowly on orbits so long they could span centuries. Time itself seems stretched here, like a note held without end, a rhythm too vast for the human heart to keep. As you drift into this space, you sense the cold, not as something painful, but as a profound stillness. Absolute zero lies not far away in thought, a temperature where motion nearly stops, where atoms slow into quiet. You imagine this silence filling you too, slowing your racing thoughts, calming the rhythms of the day. And yet, even in silence, there is beauty. You picture a comet, dark and frozen, tumbling through the belt. On its surface are ices of water, methane, ammonia, ices that have never melted, never known warmth. They are relics unchanged since the solar system was young. To touch one would be to touch time itself, to place your hand on the beginning of all things. Pluto wanders here too, small and distant. When Voyager was launched, Pluto was still counted among the planets. But out here, classifications lose their importance. It does not matter what you call it, planet, dwarf, icy world. What matters is that it exists, circling in its long, slow orbit, a reminder that even small things can hold stories. Voyager does not stop at Pluto. Its path is fixed, a straight line outward. But you pause in your mind, imagining the spacecraft gliding past, its camera turning to capture that pale, cold world. You see a surface marked by plains of ice, mountains of frozen nitrogen, glaciers that flow slower than dreams. Pluto, though small, is alive in its way, sculpted by the balance of cold and time. And beyond Pluto, more worlds wait. Eris, Haumea, Makemake, each as distant, faint, their names new to human tongues, their stories only beginning to be known. Voyager will never reach them. But in imagining its journey, you glimpse them too, shadows at the edge of sight. The Kuiper Belt is not empty. It is filled with fragments, each one a keeper of memory. And so too, you realize, are you. You carry within yourself your own Kuiper Belt, small pieces of memory, frozen moments from your past. Some are bright, others hidden in shadow, but all orbit within you, quietly shaping who you are. As Voyager drifts, you feel yourself drifting inward too, touching those fragments of memory. Childhood laughter, the warmth of someone's hand, the sound of rain on a window. Small moments, long past yet still circling in the quiet of your mind. They are your relics, your fragments, your frozen comets. You do not need to chase them, they are always with you. Voyager's signal continues, faint but steady, reaching back to Earth. Each bit of data takes hours to arrive, crossing billions of kilometers. The spacecraft is still speaking, even in silence, even in cold. Its antenna points homeward, patient, unwavering, and in that patience you find calm. The journey through the Kuiper Belt is long. Voyager moves at thousands of kilometers per hour, yet even at such speed, distances are immense. It will take years to cross, years to emerge from this halo of frozen worlds. And in those years, Earth itself will change. Generations will grow, seasons will turn, cities will rise and fall. But Voyager will continue its steady drift, untouched by the rush of time. You let this sense of slowness enter you. Out here there is no hurry. The belt reminds you that not everything must move quickly. Some things are meant to drift, to linger, to wait. Sleep, too, is like this, a slowing, a drifting, a surrender to stillness. As you rest in the Kuiper silence, you notice how perspective changes. From Earth, this region seemed distant, almost unreachable. But from Voyager's path, it is not unreachable at all. It is simply another step, another layer of the solar system's story. The familiar skies of planets and moons are behind you now, but there is comfort in realizing that the story continues. Always there is more beyond. And beyond the Kuiper Belt lies something even greater, the edge of the sun's influence, the place where the solar wind meets the winds of other stars. A boundary between the known and the unknown. Voyager is headed there, slow but certain. You breathe deeply, slowly. You imagine yourself carried by this silence, not rushed, not hurried, but drifting with grace. Like Voyager, you are moving outward, past the familiar, past the edges, into something vast. The Kuiper Belt surrounds you with stillness, but also with possibility. Every fragment could be a story, every frozen world a reminder of beginnings, and you too carry beginnings within you. Tonight you let them rest. The silence deepens. The sun grows dimmer. The stars appear sharper against the black. Voyager drifts onward through this cold halo of ancient dust, and you drift with it, breathing slowly, body heavy, thoughts dissolving into quiet. At the boundary of the wind, the solar wind weakens, thinning into silence. Voyager drifts toward the heliopause, a border between suns. Here the sun's breath ends and the galaxy's breath begins. You feel the passage as a threshold, a step into the unknown. The Kuiper silence begins to fade, not because the distance ends, but because a greater threshold lies ahead. Voyager continues its outward drift, past frozen remnants of creation, past the last familiar companions of the solar system. Ahead is not a planet, not a world, but a boundary, an invisible frontier drawn by the wind of the sun. The sun breathes, though not in air. From its fiery surface streams the solar wind, a river of charged particles flowing outward in all directions. It is not wind as you know it, but a silent current of plasma, protons, electrons, fragments of the sun itself cast into space. For billions of kilometers this wind carries strength, shaping the space around it. It forms a bubble, a vast cocoon of solar influence known as the heliosphere. Within it the sun is master. Beyond it other stars begin to whisper. Voyager drifts toward the edge of this bubble. Here the solar wind weakens, collides with the thin breath of the galaxy itself, and slows to a halt. This place is called the heliopause, the boundary of the wind. You imagine it not as a line but as a threshold, like the tide meeting the shore, or the moment when a candle flame flickers and fades into smoke. For years, Voyager crossed the heliosheath, the region where the solar wind begins to slow, pressed back by the weight of interstellar space. You picture this place as a gentle twilight, a zone of change. The sun's breath is still felt here, but weaker, quieter, as though the great star itself is sighing after a long exhale. You let yourself feel this too. The slow exhale, the gentle weakening. It is not loss but release, the same way you breathe out at the end of the day, setting aside the weight of hours, letting silence enter where effort once was. The heliopause becomes a mirror for your own body, a threshold between doing and resting, between effort and ease. Beyond this boundary lies the interstellar medium, the space between stars. It is not empty. It carries its own winds, its own particles, its own faint whispers of gas and dust. Out there, the influence of the sun fades to nothing, replaced by the shared breath of the galaxy. Voyager is about to cross into this wider sea. You imagine standing at that edge. Behind you, the solar system glows with the memory of planets and moons, rings and storms. Ahead of you, the galaxy stretches with stars beyond counting, a river of light spiraling into infinity. The heliopause is the shoreline where one ocean ends and another begins. Voyager does not hesitate. It drifts forward, slow but unyielding, its instruments still alive, its antenna still aimed toward Earth. In 2012, scientists on Earth confirmed it had indeed crossed the heliopause. The signal showed a change. The solar wind had weakened. The particles around it no longer belonged to the sun, but to interstellar space. Voyager had left the cradle, stepping fully into the galaxy. You pause and let the magnitude of this sink in. For the first time, a human-made object, a small messenger of metal and memory, has left the sun's domain. It is not just traveling farther than anything before, it has changed its address. It belongs now to the stars. There is humility in this. Voyager does not blaze through the galaxy like a conqueror. It drifts quietly, a patient traveler, unnoticed except by those who listen. Its crossing is not loud or triumphant. It is gentle, almost invisible, like a sigh carried across the night. Yet in that gentleness lies a power beyond measure, for it proves that what is small, what is fragile, can still reach the infinite. You breathe again, slowly, feeling the same crossing within yourself. The day has been its own solar wind, active, busy, full of motion. Now, in this quiet moment, you arrive at your own heliopause. The thoughts and tasks of the day weaken, fall behind, fade. Ahead lies a new medium, the silence of night, the expanse of rest. You feel the boundary. Behind you is the familiar, ahead of you the unknown. And yet the unknown does not frighten you. It calls softly, inviting you to drift forward. The heliopause is not a wall but a passage, not an end but a beginning. Voyager continues outward, carried by its own momentum. No fuel guides it now, no thrust pushes it onward. It simply moves, as all things do in space, in silence and in trust. You imagine yourself doing the same. You do not need to force the journey of sleep. You do not need to control every step. You simply drift, carried by the quiet currents of your own body, trusting they will lead you where you need to go. The solar wind fades behind. The stars ahead shine brighter. The spacecraft, though small, is now a citizen of the galaxy. You too feel yourself expanding, no longer confined to the small sphere of the day, but part of something vast, luminous, eternal. This boundary, the heliopause, is a moment of stillness, but also of promise. Beyond it lies interstellar space, a domain no human eye has ever seen, no ear has ever heard. Voyager carries our presence there, a spark of Earth drifting between stars. You feel proud, humbled, and comforted all at once. The thought repeats gently, thresholds are not endings, they are passages. The day yields to night, the familiar yields to silence, the solar wind yields to the galactic breath. And in each yielding there is not loss, but transformation. You allow yourself to rest in this thought. Like Voyager, you are carried. Like Voyager, you belong to both where you came from and where you are going. You do not need to choose. You are both memory and possibility, both Earth and stars. The spacecraft drifts onward, past the last breath of the sun, into the soft breath of the galaxy. And you too drift, past the noise of thought, into the quiet where sleep waits. Messages in the dark Voyager's faint signals still touch Earth across the gulf of space. Invisible radio waves whisper like threads of light, binding distance. Listening requires patience, silence, and faith in faint voices. Even the quiet between signals feels alive with meaning. The spacecraft drifts on past the sun's breath into the wider sea of stars. From this distance you might think it would fall silent, that its voice would vanish into the dark. And yet, across billions of kilometers, Voyager still speaks. Its signals, though faint, continue to reach us. The messages it sends are not words, not sentences, not voices as you know them. They are radio waves, invisible ripples of energy, traveling at the speed of light. Each one carries data, tiny bits of information about where Voyager is, what it sees, what it feels. The signals are unimaginably weak, like the flicker of a candle seen from across an ocean. And yet, with patience, Earth can hear them. You imagine these signals now. They rise from Voyager's golden antenna, spill outward into the void, and spread like widening circles on still water. The spacecraft cannot know if anyone is listening. It simply sends again and again as it was built to do. There is a purity in that, a devotion to speaking even when the listener is impossibly far away. On Earth, vast radio dishes wait. They are called the Deep Space Network, enormous ears of metal scattered across California, Spain, and Australia. Each one is larger than a building, so wide that you could lie in the curve of its dish and feel as though you were inside the palm of a giant hand. These dishes turn slowly and patiently to keep listening to Voyager. The signals they catch are faint beyond imagining. By the time they arrive, they have thinned to less than a whisper. It is as though you tried to hear the flutter of a moth's wing across continents, and yet, with sensitive instruments, with patience and silence, those whispers are caught, amplified, and understood. There is a lesson here, that even the faintest voice matters. That distance does not erase connection if one is willing to listen closely enough. Voyager teaches us this, that across the immense space between stars, a thread can still be woven, a bond can still be felt. You imagine yourself as both sender and receiver. At times you are like Voyager, sending out your thoughts, your feelings, uncertain if anyone will hear. At other times you are like the great dishes, quiet and patient, listening for something small, something fragile, something that might otherwise be missed. Both are acts of love, to speak faithfully and to listen deeply. The signals Voyager sends carry not only science but meaning. They bring back images, measurements, stories of plasma, particles, and fields. But beneath those details is something simpler, softer. The message is, I am still here, I am still moving, I am still alive in the dark. How comforting it is to know that even in silence, across distance, a voice can remain. And how comforting it is, too, that even when you feel far away from others, your own presence still carries, still reaches, in ways unseen. Sometimes the signals falter. Noise interrupts them. The vastness between stars is not empty, and the whispers of Voyager must travel through interference, yet the message is still there, waiting to be uncovered. You breathe into this truth, that even when your own thoughts feel clouded, even when your own signals seem lost in noise, there remains a steady thread beneath. To listen to Voyager is to practice patience. Each bit of data takes hours to arrive, delayed by the sheer size of the cosmos. There is no instant response, no rapid conversation. The rhythm is slow, like the rhythm of sleep. Speak, wait, listen, wait. Everything unfolds in its own time. You let your own body mirror this rhythm now. Breathing in slowly, breathing out slowly. No rush, no demand, just the patient exchange of signals, as natural as tides. You picture Earth receiving Voyager's messages in the quiet of night, scientists waiting, monitors flickering, numbers scrolling across screens. In those numbers lies proof that the spacecraft still endures, still travels further, still carries its golden record through the stars. Each signal is like a heartbeat, distant but steady, reminding Earth that its messenger continues. And perhaps in some far future, Voyager's signals will fade completely. Its power source will run down, its antenna will grow silent. But even then, the act of sending will have mattered. For decades across impossible distances, it spoke faithfully. That is enough. That is beautiful. You feel the parallel within yourself. The words you speak, the care you give, the love you offer, they too may feel faint, small, fragile, but they travel farther than you know. They echo in the lives of others in ways you may never see. The distance does not erase them. Even silence, you realize, is not empty. The space between Voyager's signals, the long pauses while Earth waits, is filled with meaning too. Silence itself becomes a message, a reminder of distance, of time, of patience. And in your own life, silence is not absence. It is a place where meaning rests, waiting to be heard. You breathe into that silence now. You feel it holding you, calming you, reminding you that you do not need to fill every moment with words. Sometimes the truest messages are the quiet ones. Voyager continues onward, its antenna still pointed home, its faint voice still crossing the dark. And you, here in the quiet of night, feel connected to it. Across billions of kilometers, across the gulf of stars, you are listening. The dark is not empty. It is alive with whispers, with signals, with presence. And you are part of it, both listener and messenger, drifting softly into the unknown. The Golden Record's song. A golden record spins silently in the dark. On it are greetings, music, and the tender sounds of Earth. It is a time capsule of memory, a lullaby for unknown ears. You imagine who might someday listen and feel less alone. In the vast silence of interstellar space, Voyager carries with it something more than instruments and wires, more than sensors and antennas. Fixed to its side, polished against time, lies a golden record, a message in a bottle cast into the cosmic sea. It is not just data or science. It is a song, a portrait of Earth in sound and image, a gift of memory to the unknown. The golden record is made of copper plated with gold to resist the slow wear of time. It is built to last for billions of years, longer than the Earth itself may endure. On its surface are etched grooves, like the records once spun on turntables in living rooms. But this record is not meant for human ears. It is meant for anyone or anything who may one day find Voyager and wonder what small world sent it drifting. You imagine the record now, turning gently in the quiet. It is not playing, not singing, and yet within it rests a library of voices, sounds, and songs. It holds greetings in 55 languages, spoken by human voices from across the planet, soft syllables of welcome, words of peace, messages of hope. Some are ancient languages, spoken by only a few. Others are modern tongues, spoken by millions. Together they form a chorus of humanity, each greeting like a hand extended into the dark. Alongside the greetings are the sounds of Earth itself. The trickle of water, the rumble of thunder, the whisper of wind through trees, the laughter of children, the song of birds, the call of whales, the heartbeat of a single human chest. You close your eyes and listen inwardly, imagining these sounds layered together, a symphony of life. It is not just information. It is presence. It is Earth singing its own lullaby into the void. The record holds music too, a carefully chosen playlist from cultures around the world. Bach and Beethoven, yes, but also folk songs, ceremonial chants, ragas, and rhythms from faraway lands. There is Navajo night chant, Japanese shakuhachi flute, Senegalese percussion, and a Peruvian wedding song. There is Blind Willie Johnson's Dark Was the Night, Cold Was the Ground, a blues that carries wordless longing. Each piece is a voice of humanity, not confined to any one place or people, but woven together into a shared song. What is music, after all, but vibration, pattern, rhythm? And what is the universe if not vibration and rhythm too? The record becomes a bridge, human music echoing the cosmic music of stars, planets, and galaxies. You imagine a distant listener, perhaps with ears unlike yours, perhaps with senses entirely foreign, placing a needle upon the grooves and hearing for the first time Earth's song and the images. For the record also carries pictures encoded in its grooves, photographs of Earth, of landscapes and mountains, rivers and forests, images of animals, of trees, of oceans, faces of people, hands reaching, families gathering. Scientific diagrams, the structure of DNA, the rotation of planets, the anatomy of the human body. It is as though the record whispers, "This is what we are, this is where we come from, this is our story." You think of the care it took to select these fragments. Scientists and artists debated, argued, struggled over what to include. What single collection could possibly represent all of Earth, all of humanity? In the end, compromises were made, choices settled. The record does not contain everything, but perhaps that is its beauty. For like memory itself, it is incomplete, partial, suggestive. It offers glimpses, not totals. And in glimpses, the imagination is free to wander. You let yourself drift into the idea of being the listener. Imagine you are not human, not of Earth, but some traveler among stars, finding this small golden disc attached to a silent machine. You place the needle, you hear the greetings, the music, the heartbeat. What would you feel? Perhaps curiosity, perhaps wonder, perhaps most of all recognition that life, wherever it exists, longs to reach out, longs to be known. In this way, the record is not just a message outward, it is also a mirror inward. It reflects to us what we value, what we chose to carry as our introduction. It reminds us that Earth is not defined by its divisions, but by its shared voices. The golden record is humanity speaking as one, even if only for a moment. You pause to imagine the record floating now, Voyager carrying it further and further, past the heliopause, into interstellar space. The sounds remain silent, stored in grooves of gold, waiting. The greetings remain unheard, the music unplayed. And yet there is comfort in knowing they are there. It is enough to know that Earth has sung into the void, even if no ear ever hears it. This is the essence of hope, to send a message without certainty, to trust that meaning can live even without reply. The golden record is hope made solid, hope etched into metal, hope traveling among the stars. As you breathe, you sense your own golden record within, your memories, your laughter, your songs, your voice. You too carry fragments of story, etched not in grooves but in the fabric of your being. Some may never be heard by others, some may never be played, but they remain, waiting, preserved. And that is enough. The thought soothes you. You do not need to be understood by all. You do not need every message to be received. It is enough that you carry them, that you send them when you can, that you let them drift outward into the lives around you. Like Voyager's record, your presence may reach farther than you ever know. The golden record spins in your imagination now. You hear the laughter, the music, the whispers of rain. You see the images, a mother with her child, a field of wheat, the spiral of DNA. You feel the heartbeat, and then you return to silence as the record rests again in stillness. Voyager carries it onward through distances that defy imagination. The spacecraft itself will one day fall silent, its instruments cooling, its transmitter dimming. But the record will remain attached to its body, drifting for billions of years. Long after Earth has changed, long after oceans and mountains have shifted, the golden record will still be singing silently, waiting for a listener. You breathe into that eternity. You realize that what we leave behind is not only stone or metal, but the songs we sing, the care we give, the traces of our presence. Each life is a record, etched with grooves of memory, carried into the future by those who listen, those who remember. And as you drift deeper into rest, you feel a kinship with Voyager. You too are a messenger. You too carry songs. You too drift into the unknown, trusting that your message, however faint, however fragile, will endure. The Golden Record song does not need to be heard to be real. It simply needs to exist, and in its existence there is comfort. Stars without end. Beyond the sun's reach, stars scatter like drifting fireflies. Distances grow immeasurable, yet you drift calmly among them. Each star feels unreachable, yet welcoming like a dream. Voyager becomes a speck among specks, yet still carries meaning. Voyager drifts now into a space without borders. The solar system lies behind, the sun reduced to a faint glow, no brighter than other stars. Ahead, the sky is no longer divided into planets and boundaries, but scattered endlessly with light. The stars rise all around, countless and without end, each one both distant and near in your imagination. You let your eyes close and picture them as fireflies in a summer field, drifting in silence, each shining with its own rhythm. Some are bright and bold, others dim and quiet, but together they weave a tapestry so vast it seems impossible to hold in thought. And yet, here you are, drifting with Voyager, floating among them, letting the immensity cradle you instead of overwhelm you. From Earth, the stars have always been companions of the night. They guided sailors across oceans, inspired myths and constellations, marked seasons and calendars. But from Voyager's vantage, they are no longer pinpricks on a dome. They are suns, immense, burning, each with its own story of creation, its own family of planets perhaps circling unseen. The night sky is not a ceiling, but a sea. You breathe into this awareness. The universe is not empty, it is overflowing. Each star is a flame, born from clouds of dust and gas, collapsing into fire, fusing hydrogen into light. Some are young, blazing white and blue, impatient in their brilliance. Others are old, swollen into giants, their light softer, redder, fading. A few are dying, collapsing inward, leaving behind remnants, white dwarfs, neutron stars, black holes, reminders that even stars must yield. And Voyager drifts among them, a silent traveler carrying a golden record, a message no star needs, but perhaps some distant traveler might one day find. You imagine the contrast, stars so immense that Voyager is nothing more than a speck, a dust grain among galaxies. And yet, in its smallness, the spacecraft holds something no star does, memory, meaning, intention. This thought comforts you. Greatness is not only in size or brightness, it can be in carrying a message, in preserving a voice, in enduring quietly. Voyager, though smaller than a shadow, belongs to the stars now, just as you belong to the immensity of life, no matter how small you may feel. You picture specific stars. Alpha Centauri, the nearest system, only 4 light-years away, close yet impossibly distant. From Voyager's speed it would take tens of thousands of years to arrive, far longer than any human life. You imagine Proxima Centauri, its faint red glow hosting a planet in its habitable zone, a place where water might flow, where life might stir. Voyager will not reach it, but the thought is enough to stir wonder. Further out you think of Sirius, the brightest star in Earth's sky, burning in the constellation of Canis Major. You imagine Vega shining in Lyra, guiding stories across cultures. Betelgeuse, a red supergiant in Orion, nearing the end of its life, ready one day to explode into a supernova. Each of these stars is both unreachable and intimate, known across human history yet existing at scales beyond comprehension. You breathe slowly, feeling the rhythm of distance. Each star is years, centuries, millennia away. Light itself takes time to reach us. When you look at a star, you see not its present, but its past. The night sky is a museum of memory, a gallery of ancient light. Voyager too becomes part of this gallery. Its signals, faint as they are, carry the past into the present. Every moment it speaks, it sends a time capsule forward. And every moment you remember, you do the same. In this way, you too are a traveler among stars. Your thoughts, your words, your actions ripple outward, touching lives you may never meet. Like starlight, they may travel long after you are gone, long after the moment has passed. And just as you look at stars to see the past, others may one day feel your light, your memory shining across time. The stars remind you of endlessness, but also of rest, for their light is steady, rhythmic, unwavering. You picture yourself lying beneath them, Voyager drifting above, the galaxy surrounding you like a blanket. The immensity does not ask you to understand it. It asks only that you rest within it, that you let it hold you, as a child rests in the quiet of night. You imagine Voyager's path now, weaving slowly through constellations. From its vantage, the patterns shift. The familiar shapes of Orion, Cassiopeia, Ursa Major dissolve as the spacecraft changes perspective. Constellations are illusions of distance, stars lined up only by chance from Earth's view. Out here, the illusions scatter. The night sky rearranges itself, showing new patterns, new stories. There is comfort in this too. What seems fixed, permanent, inevitable, even constellations, can change with perspective. You too may find that what feels unchangeable in your life can shift if seen from another angle. Voyager teaches you this as it redraws the sky by simply moving onward. You feel yourself drifting deeper now, like the spacecraft itself. The stars surround you, infinite yet gentle. Their distances no longer intimidate you. Instead, they soothe you, reminding you that you are part of something vast, woven into a universe without end. And as you sink into this awareness, you sense what lies ahead. For even in the endless stars, time moves forward. Voyager, though immortal compared to you, will one day fall silent. Its instruments will cool, its antenna will dim. It will become a relic drifting among suns, carrying its golden record but no longer speaking. This thought does not sadden you. Instead, it softens you. For everything, even stars, must end. But in that ending there is beauty. The message remains, the light remains, the record spins, the memory endures. You breathe slowly, deeply, letting the stars cradle you. Voyager drifts on, you drift with it, and the endless sky feels less like a void and more like a lullaby. The stars without end remind you that infinity need not be overwhelming. It can be peaceful, gentle, a rhythm that carries you into rest. A future beyond us. Long after Earth has changed, Voyager will go on. It drifts through epochs where mountains shift and seas rise. The spacecraft becomes a messenger of memory, outlasting its makers. You find comfort in its endurance, a reminder of permanence within change. Time stretches differently in space. For you, a minute is a breath, an hour is a turning of the earth, a day is the rise and fall of the sun. But for Voyager, time unfolds across vast distances, across centuries, across futures you cannot see. It is not bound to the same rhythm. It drifts into a timeline that extends far beyond you, far beyond the world you know. Imagine Earth 1,000 years from now. Cities may crumble, languages may shift, oceans may carve new shapes into coastlines. The night sky may look nearly the same, but the people beneath it will be different. Yet Voyager will still be moving, still drifting outward, carrying its record of memory. Its voice may have grown silent, its instruments dim, but the spacecraft itself will endure, circling the galaxy like a small seed carried on the wind. 1,000 years becomes 10,000. Continents move, ice ages return and recede. The constellations themselves begin to shift, stars wandering slowly across the sky. Civilizations rise, fall, and rise again, and Voyager is still there, crossing the space between stars. 1,000,000 years passes, mountains crumble, worn down by rain and wind. New mountains rise where seas once were. Species evolve, change, disappear. Earth transforms in ways unimaginable to you now. But Voyager continues, unaffected by storms, by seasons, by the passage of eons. It drifts silently, carrying a golden record etched with voices that may long be forgotten on Earth itself. And what of billions of years? Imagine when the sun itself swells into a red giant, consuming Mercury, Venus, perhaps even Earth. Oceans boil, skies burn, the planet that birthed Voyager may no longer exist. Yet the spacecraft remains far beyond the sun's reach, still carrying the traces of oceans, of voices, of laughter, of music. In this way, Voyager is not only an explorer, it is a time capsule of Earth as it once was, preserved against the tides of cosmic change. This thought humbles you. The machine is fragile, no larger than a car, no heavier than a child's memory. And yet it may outlast mountains, oceans, stars. It may survive longer than anything humanity has ever built. In its endurance lies a strange kind of immortality. Not for itself, for it has no awareness, but for the voices it carries, the greetings etched into its grooves, the fragments of earth it holds. You breathe slowly, feeling this perspective stretch within you. The life you live is brief compared to Voyager's journey. Your days rise and fall like the turning of leaves, yet within that brevity lies meaning, the same way Voyager's record holds meaning, no matter how far it travels. Longevity is not the only measure of importance. Presence, intention, love, these matter, whether they last an hour or 1,000,000,000 years. Still, there is comfort in Voyager's endurance. It reassures you that something of humanity will remain, even when you are gone, even when Earth itself is changed. It is a reminder that what we create, what we send forward, can outlast us. Your own words, your own kindness, your own presence may ripple forward in ways unseen, carried into futures you cannot witness. Voyager becomes a symbol of this, not a cold machine but a messenger of memory. It drifts outward without need, without desire, yet carrying with it all the richness of life. It is like a seed cast into the soil of the unknown. Whether it ever finds a place to grow is not the point. The point is that it carries potential, that it continues, that it endures. You imagine Voyager now, 1,000,000 years from today, still drifting among stars. Perhaps its golden record is found, perhaps it is not. But even if no one ever hears its music, the act of sending it mattered. It is enough to have sung into the silence. It is enough to have said, "We were here. This was our world. This was our song. And what if it is found?" You let yourself imagine. A distant traveler, perhaps human descendants, perhaps beings unlike anything you can picture, holds the record in their hands. They hear the greetings, the music, the heartbeat. They see the images of oceans, forests, human faces. In that moment, Earth lives again, even if Earth itself has long changed. In that moment, memory becomes presence, and the voices of the past reach across time. This possibility soothes you, not because it is certain, but because it is hopeful. The future is unknowable, but Voyager teaches you that hope can travel even where certainty cannot. To send something into the unknown, to let it drift, is an act of trust. It is a way of saying that meaning exists even without answers, even without guarantees. You breathe this truth into yourself. Your own future, too, is uncertain. You cannot know what will remain of you in 1,000 years, or even in 100. But you can trust that what you leave, your kindness, your presence, your care, will travel further than you imagine. Like Voyager, you send messages into the unknown every day. You cannot control who will hear them or when. But the act of sending is enough. As you rest, you picture Voyager still drifting, still moving forward. Stars pass, galaxies shift, yet it continues. It may never reach another star, never touch another world, but that does not diminish its journey. Its purpose is not destination, but endurance, not arrival, but persistence. And in this you find a mirror for your own life. You too may feel small, drifting through time, uncertain of where you are headed. But you carry your own record, your own song, etched into your being. You too endure in ways you cannot see, touching futures beyond your sight. Voyager is not separate from you. It is a reflection of you, your fragility, your endurance, your hope. The thought calms you. You do not need to fear impermanence, even change, even endings are part of the vast story. Voyager drifts into a future beyond Earth, beyond the sun, beyond us all, and in its drifting it whispers that nothing is ever truly lost. Memory endures, presence echoes, meaning survives. You let yourself rest in this awareness. Voyager continues, steady and small, and so do you. The stars stretch endlessly, the future stretches endlessly, and yet you are not overwhelmed. You are held within it, part of its rhythm, part of its flow. The spacecraft moves forward, carrying its golden record, carrying your imagination with it. You drift deeper into stillness, into the vastness of time, into the comfort of knowing that even the smallest voice can outlast silence. You in the starlight. The journey turns inward back to you. You are a voyager too, carrying your own record of memories. The stars become your mirror, your lullaby, your quiet guide. You drift into rest, wrapped in the gentle light of infinity. For so long you have followed Voyager outward, past planets and moons, beyond the Kuiper silence, across the boundary of the sun's breath, into the endless scatter of stars. Each chapter of the journey has been a step further into vastness. But now, as you drift deeper into rest, the journey turns inward. For Voyager's path is not only about space beyond, it is also a mirror of the space within. You are not separate from the stars. You are made of them. The calcium in your bones, the iron in your blood, the oxygen in your breath, all were born in the heart of stars that lived and died long before Earth existed. You are not only looking at the starlight, you are carrying it within you, glowing in every cell, every breath. You breathe in now softly and feel the starlight enter again, through the air, through the memory of creation. You breathe out and feel yourself join the rhythm of the universe, as though your own lungs are twin to the lungs of galaxies. Voyager drifts outward, but you drift inward, finding that the stars above are the same as the stars within. You imagine yourself as Voyager. You carry your own golden record, though it is not made of copper or gold. It is made of memories, of experiences, of moments etched into the grooves of your heart. Each laugh you've shared, each tear you've shed, each kindness you've given, all are preserved, traveling outward in unseen ways. Just as Voyager cannot know who will find its record, you cannot know who will feel the ripple of your presence. But it is there, carried forward, enduring. In the starlight you sense this truth. You are both small and vast. Small because your life is brief, your body fragile, your days fleeting. Vast because you contain the memory of stars, the echo of the universe itself. Voyager carries a fraction of Earth's voice, but you carry the fullness of being alive. You breathe, slow and even. With each breath you feel lighter. You release the weight of the day, the noise, the clutter. You let your body rest, your mind drift. The stars are not demanding, they do not rush you. They simply shine, steady and calm, reminding you that it is enough to exist, to be, to glow quietly in the dark. The starlight touches you now. Imagine lying beneath an endless sky, your skin warm with its glow. The stars do not judge, they do not measure, they do not compare. They shine upon Voyager, upon Earth, upon you, with the same gentle light. In their gaze you are equal to all. In their silence you are enough. You remember the pale blue dot, Earth seen as a speck in a sunbeam. From Voyager's distance it was humbling. But here in the starlight humility becomes comfort. You are not alone in your smallness. Everything is small against infinity, and yet everything is also connected. The same light that touches distant galaxies touches you now. As you rest in this thought, you notice how the stars create patterns, constellations written across the night. From Earth they tell stories, hunters, queens, bears, twins. From Voyager the patterns dissolve and reform, reminding you that stories are perspectives, shifting with time. So too are the stories you tell about yourself. They are constellations, arrangements of memory. They can change, they can be rewritten. You breathe into this freedom. You are not fixed, not bound. Just as Voyager redraws the constellations by moving onward, you redraw the constellations of your own life by moving through it. You are the Voyager of your own sky, carrying light, shaping stories, creating meaning. The starlight around you grows softer now, as though the stars themselves are dimming into a lullaby. Their endlessness is not harsh, not cold. It is tender, like a blanket drawn gently over you. You feel yourself wrapped in it, safe, cradled by infinity. The immensity that once seemed unreachable now feels intimate, as though every star is whispering a wordless song meant only for you. You close your eyes and the starlight is still there, inside you. Your breath glows with it, your heartbeat echoes it. You realize that even in darkness you shine, even in stillness you carry motion, even in sleep you are part of the universe's unfolding. And Voyager, though distant, though drifting, remains your companion. It teaches you that you too can endure, that you too can carry your record into the unknown, that you too are more than the sum of your smallness. It shows you that to drift is not to be lost, to be silent is not to be forgotten, to be small is not to be without meaning. You rest in this reflection, the stars above, the stars within, the Voyager beyond, the Voyager inside. You are all one rhythm, one unfolding. There is no separation. The universe breathes and you breathe with it. The stars shine and you shine with them. Voyager drifts and you drift with it, further into calm, further into peace. The journey is not over. Ahead still lies the future, the long passage of time, the endless dance of stars. But for tonight, you do not need to travel further. You only need to rest here, in the starlight, in the awareness that you are both Voyager and home. The starlight is steady, your breath is steady. Voyager drifts on, carrying its golden record. You drift inward, carrying your own. Together you and Voyager float between the endless stars, both fragile, both enduring, both luminous in the dark. The future of the tides of light. Light flows onward, carrying Voyager and you into forever. The tides of stars rise and fall, yet the rhythm remains calm. The future is uncertain, but filled with quiet promise. You rest in knowing you are part of this endless tide. The journey has carried you far, from Earth's first whisper into the dark, past planets and moons, through the Kuiper silence, across the boundary of the sun's breath, into the endless sea of stars. You have followed Voyager into distances beyond imagination. Now, at the edge of this story, you find yourself not only looking outward, but also resting inward, within the tides of light themselves. For light is not only a measure of speed, it is the universe's memory. Every beam carries with it the story of where it came from, a star, a flame, a world. Voyager, drifting outward, reflects light from the sun. It glimmers faintly in the starlight, a small shining reminder of Earth's voice, and you too are carried on these tides. Your eyes see because light touches them. Your life is measured in rhythms of light and dark, day and night. The tides of light are endless. Stars are born, shining fiercely. They live, they dim, they die. Their light travels on, even after the star itself is gone, rippling forward through eternity. To look at a star is to look back in time, to witness its past carried on light's tide. In this way, the night sky is both history and promise, and Voyager, with its golden record, sails upon that tide, carrying not only data, but memory, music, and love. You imagine light as an ocean now. Its waves are not of water, but of energy, flowing ceaselessly across the cosmos. Voyager is a small ship upon that sea, fragile and eternal all at once. You are not separate from it. You too are a Voyager upon light's ocean. Every thought, every kindness, every memory you release becomes like a ripple of light, traveling outward, touching futures you may never see. There is peace in this. The future is uncertain, unknowable, but you do not need to control it. You only need to trust that the tides will carry what is meant to be carried. Voyager does not choose its path. It drifts on the momentum it was given, guided by gravity and time, and yet its message remains true. In the same way, you do not need to see all of your future. You only need to drift upon its light, carrying your own record, trusting it will reach where it is meant to reach. You breathe slowly, deeply, and feel yourself floating in this awareness. The stars above you are steady. The galaxy itself turns in spirals of light, but the rhythm is calm, unhurried. You too can rest in that rhythm. The universe is not rushed, it does not demand, it simply unfolds, patiently, endlessly, like light traveling across eternity. The tides of light will continue long after you, long after Earth, long after Voyager. New stars will be born, their light joining the ocean. Old stars will fade, their light still rippling onward. Galaxies will collide, their tides merging, and somewhere Voyager will still be drifting, a small spark among the waves, carrying a record of voices, laughter, music, rain. This thought softens you. It reminds you that nothing is truly lost. Change is constant, yes, but loss is only another form of transformation. The light of a star that died billions of years ago still shines upon you tonight. The words you speak, the love you share, may outlast your own life, carried in ways you cannot measure. Voyager's record may never be played, but its existence is itself a gift. So too with you. Simply being here, simply shining, is enough. You let yourself sink deeper into this calm. Imagine yourself lying upon the ocean of light, Voyager nearby, both of you drifting, both of you small and yet infinite. The tides carry you, steady and soft. You do not need to swim. You do not need to strive. You are buoyed, lifted, sustained. And so the story closes, not with an ending, but with a continuation. Voyager moves on. The stars move on. You move on. The tides of light carry all forward, together. There is no final arrival, no last destination. Only the quiet unfolding of eternity, gentle and unbroken. You close your eyes and the starlight remains within you. You breathe and the universe breathes with you. You rest and Voyager drifts beside you, carrying Earth's golden song into the forever dark. The tides of light are eternal, and in their rhythm you are safe.